Hello guys, my name is Charles and I'm a feedlot expert. Well, I actually am many things. Yeah, I'm a ruminant nutritionist, I'm an animal production specialist, and yeah, I'm a lot of things really. But, so today there's something I wanted to respond to real quick that I wanted to adjust. I don't know why, for some reason, nowadays, we have farmers turning into experts. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they don't know what they're saying and etc. I'm seeing a lot of videos on internet, very misleading, very misleading. Of course, I totally appreciate that they have experience, they're experienced, they've learned from the job and etc. Which is a very interesting thing. But some of these things they need a nibble of technical nouns. I don't know if it makes sense. Like some of these things you just don't approach haphazardly, and simply because you've kept an animal or two or three or whatever, and then you probably, and then you think now you're coming off as though you know it all, and then you're advising farmers, and then you're doing consultancy work, and then etc. and etc. And I'm not against them doing that really. But I think sometimes when you're approaching some things, the things that you're not quite familiar with, in technical context, in a technical context, you need to tone down on your, and what am I talking about? Like, so there's this video that I just watched on TikTok, okay? And so this guy is trying, I don't know, I would say he's coming off as though, like he sounds, I don't know, he's like trashing feedlotting. And I don't know if he knows what a feedlot exactly is, or what actually happens in a feedlot, or what someone needs to do to say that they are operating a successful feedlot, or that they have set up a successful feedlot system. I'm talking about fully fledged intensive systems, if you know what I mean, right? Now, and I'm going to quote this. This is what he said in his video. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna probably like toss it on in the video in here. I don't know, for you to relate, because I don't want anyone to come off as saying, oh, it's just allegations and whatever. But see, I quote this. This is what he said. He said, and I don't know. It's like, mwari mulabyeko ente z'ennyama mu zero grazing. This is what he says. Wali olabyeko alundira ente y'ennyama mu zero grazing. Va ku biri ebyammwe bye mwogerako mbu simanyi feedlot. Va ku biri ebyammwe bye mwogerako mbu simanyi feedlot. This is exactly how he said it. Right? And I'm quoting it like that. Literally saying, for you who cannot speak Luganda, literally saying that, have you ever seen someone, keeping, beef animals in zero grazing, or raising beef animals on zero grazing? Forget this that they talk about, I hear feedlot. Have you ever seen that? So, you see, when I hear that, one, for me, it is shouting ignorance. And I'm sorry to say. He's on TikTok, and I don't know, those of you who are familiar with feedlot systems and how they operate and etc., and probably, I don't know who can tell the difference between zero grazing and feedlot, which actually is the same. I could probably come through here and also share. But this is what I'm trying to say. You don't know something, don't start trash talking it. It's really not necessary. Now, let me tell you something. You're talking of zero grazing. This guy in a video, he was showing like 3-4 animals. That is nonsense. You're just wasting your time. If you're fattening 4 animals, you're feeding them, you're just wasting your time. I would rather advise that you actually do dialogue. I'm telling you. Feedlots are for people that are, like, in the thing. They know what they want to achieve. That is why I always encourage numbers. when you're to run and operate a successful feedlot. We have over 300 steers in here. We just brought them in the other day, I think like a month now, right? And our target is to fatten them over a period of 4 months, 4 to 5 months. You get? And there is a lot that is going to happen that we're going to do to achieve that. We're going to do some bit of grading. We already know, we have the history of the steers. We know how old they are, their age. And then we know those that are, you know, we are going to grade. And then we're going to have those that we want to get through growth stage. You know, we do some bit of bulk feeding to get them to dress up. And then we have those that are going to be fed to finish. So there's basically stages. You know, there are, I mean, you don't just approach these things anyhow. If I asked you this animal, so what are you feeding it, like at which stage of growth are you preconditioning it? Are you preconditioning? What exactly, are you finishing it? What exactly are you doing? You get? Now, you see, if you don't understand that, that's going to be a problem because you're going to lose money. I swear you're going to lose money. And I'm always telling farmers, this thing, you need to be very careful when you're approaching it. So people have this, unless you're doing free range. If you're doing free range, I don't have a problem with you, right? Because you're, I don't know, I mean, you're not really spending. You, at least not much. You know, you're just paying a mularo, their salary and whatever, to look after the cows, run after them and whatever. But you see, that does not qualify. So when we're talking about producing good meat, you know, I'm telling you this because I have managed feedlots, both locally and on and internationally. And I'm saying this, that the market is looking for tender meats that is well marbled. So your animal that has been running around, you know, gymming and doing exercises, that meat is not going to qualify. Definitely you're going to sell local and whatever, you will make your money. But for someone who is targeting the international market, you really want a feedlot kept animal. I don't know if you can relate. So these are the things that we look at. So if you come through and start saying, forget about Visto, but here feedlot, you don't know what happens in a feedlot. We are always advising farmers, you know. Actually, we need to get to a point, unfortunately, I think we are not there yet. Eventually, we're going to get there, where we're going to have breeders, we have growers, we have preconditioners, and we have finishers. You know, you see how we have all these people, everyone with their specific role in the value chain. So the beef value chain is totally different. And interestingly, these guys are actually doing dairy, and then they're coming through, you know, throwing their words around on things they don't understand. So this is a whole different value chain that actually has, you know, different dynamics. You know, it has its prayers, who does what when, you know. So this is also important to understand. I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't want, I hope I'm not sounding like I'm going off, but this really, I don't know, it kind of touched a nerve. Because they have no idea. So you see, in already established, value chains, in developed value chains, we have a breeder who basically, I don't know, they're raising black Angus. You know, I'm going to use an example of North Dakota, right? USA. They're probably raising black Angus, or someone in Australia. Who is raising, I don't know, Australian Angus or Charolais, right? So all they do is raise, they breed, right? They breed. And then a grower comes and buys the calves. They grow them. And then they sell them to the preconditioner. And the preconditioner sells them to the finisher. You get? So the finisher just finishes. In 4 months, finished, done. Everyone makes their money. It's a win for everyone. You know? And I hope that we get there. But since we are not there, what we do as experts, you go to the markets and look for specific animals that you know, depending on the stage you are at, that you know you would need. So if your target is actually to grow them on free range, no problem. Then buy these calves, you know, that are just getting off milk, you know, Just get them. Grow them on free range. Just take them to the market. Make you quick money. Done. If you're preconditioning them, no problem. Look for kilos between 150 to 200. Precondition them. Get them to 200. If you're looking for finishing, buy them at 200 kg to 250. Finish them in 3, 4, 5 months. Hit 350 kilos, sell, make your money. Done. Now, honestly, does that look like nonsense to you? Like trash? Does it? You don't know. So guys, I don't know. I guess I'm going to be, ending this. I'm going to be ending this. But I think we need to be informed more. So just because we have made a few trips here to Kenya and back, and then we are making funny videos, and we've become motivational speakers and advising farmers here, and they're actually misleading them. I don't really think we should come off as experts. Some of these things, let's approach experts. These people are there. I'm not the only one. I know guys are there. I know guys are there. And they can tell you the same thing. You know? So please, let us try to get knowledge. Let's try to get information. Let's try to engage experts and understand these things. Anyways, well, so I support farmers to set up successful feedlot systems. That is basically what I do. But not only that, I'm also a nutrition expert for ruminants, all ruminants. I have a soft spot for small ruminants as well, goats and sheep. I don't work with monogastrics, chicken and swine. And please, if you're looking at setting up a farm, you're establishing pastures for your animals, you're planning to put together nutrition setups, feeding programs and etc. You want to have a proper functioning operational system on your farm, management system. You have anything to do with animals, specifically ruminants, that is cows, goat and sheep, I am your guy. I am your guy. And I'm not going to say that, oh, I know it all and whatever, not really, but I am well learned, I am exposed, I have managed successful farms, in setups that are highly sensitive, and in environments that are actually thriving economically, meaning that they have a budget and they're dreaming big, and both locally. And I'm telling you, I'm currently managing one of the biggest feedlots in the country. We have stocked over 300 steers, and we're actually bringing more. And all these animals are fed indoors. They don't go out. You know what I mean? So please, don't hesitate to reach out. Don't be misled. Talk to the experts. Thank you so much. Peace.